Haunted Irish Lighthouses. Welcome back to Irish Ghost Stories, where we uncover the eerie and unexplained tales that haunt the Emerald Isle. In today's video, we're venturing to some of Ireland's most iconic and haunted lighthouses. From tragic tales of lighthouse keepers who never left their posts, to ghostly ships that appear in the mist, these beacons of light have more than a few dark secrets to reveal. Join us as we explore 10 haunted lighthouses across Ireland, each with its own spine-chilling story. From the windswept cliffs of County Antrim to the isolated rocks of County Cork, these lighthouses are not just navigational aids, they are the keepers of history, tragedy, and the supernatural. So, dim the lights, settle in, and prepare for a journey into the unknown as we uncover the ghostly legends of Ireland's most haunted lighthouses. Blackhead Lighthouse, County Wexford. Blackhead Lighthouse, perched on the rugged coast of County Wexford, is one of the oldest operating lighthouses in the world, with over 800 years of history. Throughout its long existence, the lighthouse has witnessed numerous tragedies, including the tragic death of a dedicated keeper whose ghost is said to haunt the tower to this day. The story goes that in the early 19th century, a lighthouse keeper named Sean O'Sullivan took his duties extremely seriously. He was known for his unwavering dedication to ensuring the light never failed, even in the worst of storms. One night, during a particularly violent tempest, Sean climbed to the top of the tower to secure the light, fearing it would be extinguished by the fierce winds. As he reached the lantern room, a sudden gust blew through the open door, and he lost his footing. Sean plummeted down the spiral staircase, and by the time his assistant reached him, it was too late. He had died instantly from the fall. Since that fateful night, visitors and staff have reported hearing the sound of footsteps echoing up and down the stairs, even when the lighthouse is empty. Some have seen the shadowy figure of a man in old-fashioned lighthouse keeper's clothing standing by the light, as if checking to ensure it remains lit. On stormy nights, his presence is said to be particularly strong, with doors slamming shut and the temperature dropping suddenly. Those who have encountered Sean's ghost describe a deep sense of duty and sorrow, as if he is still trying to fulfill his responsibilities even in death. Despite the eerie encounters, Blackhead Lighthouse remains a popular destination for tourists and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Visitors come not just for the breathtaking views, but also in the hope of catching a glimpse of the dedicated keeper who never left his post, even after death. St. John's Point Lighthouse, County Down. St. John's Point Lighthouse, with its distinctive yellow and black stripes, stands proudly on the Lecale Peninsula in County Down. The lighthouse has guided ships safely into Belfast Lough since 1844, but its surrounding waters have also claimed many lives over the years. Among the most tragic tales is that of a shipwrecked crew whose spirits are said to haunt the coastline. In the late 19th century, a cargo ship bound for Belfast was caught in a fierce storm just off the coast near St. John's Point. Despite the best efforts of the crew, the ship was driven onto the rocks, and all aboard were lost. The bodies of the sailors were never recovered, and it is said that their restless spirits still roam the shoreline, searching for a way to complete their ill-fated journey. Fishermen and visitors have reported seeing ghostly figures along the rocky coast, particularly during stormy weather. These apparitions are often described as men in old-fashioned naval uniforms, their faces pale and eyes hollow, wandering aimlessly near the water's edge. Some have heard the faint sound of voices calling out in the night, as if the sailors are still trying to communicate with the living. One particularly eerie encounter involved a group of hikers who were exploring the cliffs near the lighthouse. As they walked along the path, they noticed a figure standing on the rocks below, waving frantically as if signaling for help. Concerned, they rushed down to offer assistance, only to find that the figure had vanished. Shaken, they reported the incident to the local authorities, who informed them of the tragic history of the area. Despite the unsettling reports, St. John's Point Lighthouse remains a popular destination for those seeking to experience the beauty of Northern Ireland's coastline. However, visitors are often reminded that the waters around the lighthouse hold more than just the memories of shipwrecks. They are home to the spirits of those who never made it back to shore. Blackhead Lighthouse, County Clare. Blackhead Lighthouse, standing on the cliffs of the Blackhead Peninsula in County Clare, is a dramatic and isolated beacon overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. The lighthouse has guided ships along the treacherous coast since the 1670s, but the surrounding area is also said to be haunted by spirits that predate the lighthouse itself. One of the most enduring legends associated with Blackhead is that of a ghostly woman who roams the cliffs. According to local folklore, the woman was a member of a local fishing community who lost her husband and son to the sea many years ago. Grief-stricken, she would walk the cliffs every day, searching the horizon for any sign of their return. Eventually, she too disappeared, and it is believed that she fell, or perhaps threw herself, into the sea. Since her disappearance, the woman's ghost has been seen wandering the cliffs near the lighthouse, particularly at dusk. She is often described as a pale figure in a long dress, her hair blowing in the wind as she gazes out to sea. Witnesses report feeling a deep sense of sorrow when they see her, as if they are sharing in her endless grief. Some have even heard the sound of soft sobbing carried on the wind, though when they turn to look, there is no one there. In addition to the ghostly woman, the cliffs around Blackhead are also said to be haunted by the spirits of sailors who perished in shipwrecks off the coast. The area is notorious for its dangerous waters, and many ships have met their end on the rocks below the lighthouse. On stormy nights, ghostly figures are sometimes seen climbing the cliffs, their spectral forms illuminated by the lighthouse's beam. Blackhead Lighthouse remains a popular destination for those seeking to experience the wild beauty of Ireland's west coast. However, visitors are often reminded that the cliffs hold more than just stunning views. They are home to the spirits of those who never made it back from the sea. Clare Island Lighthouse, County Mayo. Clare Island Lighthouse, perched on the cliffs of Clare Island in County Mayo, has guided ships through the treacherous waters of the Atlantic since the early 19th century. The lighthouse has a long and storied history, but it is perhaps best known for the ghost of a former keeper who perished in a tragic fire. In the late 1800s, a lighthouse keeper named Thomas Byrne was stationed at Clare Island. Thomas was known for his meticulous nature and his deep sense of duty. One stormy night, a fire broke out in the keeper's quarters, quickly spreading through the wooden structure. Despite his best efforts, Thomas was unable to extinguish the flames. In his desperation, he attempted to save important navigational charts and equipment, but was overcome by the smoke and perished in the blaze. Since his death, Thomas's spirit is said to haunt the lighthouse, particularly the lantern room where he spent so much of his time. Visitors and staff have reported smelling smoke, even when there is no fire, and hearing the crackling of flames that aren't there. Some have seen the ghostly figure of a man desperately trying to extinguish an unseen fire, his face etched with fear and determination. Others have felt a sudden wave of heat, as if the fire that claimed Thomas's life is still burning within the walls of the lighthouse. Clare Island Lighthouse, now a luxury guest house, continues to draw visitors who are intrigued by its haunted history. Many come to experience the stunning views and the solitude of the island, but some leave with a chilling encounter with the ghost of Thomas Byrne, the keeper who couldn't escape the flames. Blackhead Lighthouse, County Antrim. Blackhead Lighthouse, perched on the cliffs overlooking Belfast Lough in County Antrim, has guided ships safely into port since 1902. The lighthouse is known for its striking appearance and historical significance, but it is also the site of ghostly activity linked to the men who built it. The construction of Blackhead Lighthouse was a challenging project, requiring workers to haul heavy materials up the steep cliffs in all kinds of weather. One of the most tragic stories involves a young labourer named Jacques, who was just 19 years old when he died in a construction accident. Jacques was responsible for carrying supplies up to the site, but one day, he slipped on the wet rocks and fell to his death. His body was found the next day, broken and battered by the fall. Since then, Jack's spirit is said to haunt the cliffs around Blackhead Lighthouse. Visitors and locals alike have reported seeing a young man near the base of the lighthouse, often during foggy or rainy weather. The figure is described as wearing work clothes and carrying a heavy load on his back, as if still trying to complete his final task. Those who have seen him describe a sense of sadness and loss, as if Jack is trapped in the moment of his death. In addition to Jack's ghost, there are also reports of strange occurrences during the lighthouse's construction. Workers claimed to hear footsteps and voices in the night, even when no one else was around. Tools would go missing or be found in unusual places, and some men reported feeling an unseen presence watching them as they worked. Despite the eerie stories, Blackhead Lighthouse was successfully completed and has served as a vital beacon for over a century. The lighthouse stands as a tribute to the men who built it, but it also serves as a reminder of the dangers they faced. For those who visit, Blackhead offers not just a glimpse into the past, but also the chance to encounter the spirits of those who helped shape it. Fastnet Lighthouse, County Cork. Fastnet Lighthouse, known as Ireland's Teardrop, is one of the most isolated and iconic lighthouses in the country. Located on a small rock off the coast of County Cork, the lighthouse has guided countless ships through treacherous waters since 1854. However, it is also the site of one of Ireland's most famous ghostly legends, the tale of the phantom ship that haunts the waters around Fastnet. The legend dates back to the early 1900s, when a cargo ship carrying valuable goods was lost in a violent storm off the coast of Cork. The ship, known as the Silver Swan, was bound for America, but it never reached its destination. The ship and its crew vanished without a trace, and despite extensive searches, no wreckage was ever found. However, in the years that followed, reports began to surface of a ghostly ship appearing near Fastnet Lighthouse during storms. The phantom ship, believed to be the Silver Swan, is often seen just before or during violent weather. Witnesses describe it as an old-fashioned vessel with tattered sails, moving silently through the waves. The ship is often shrouded in mist, and no crew is ever visible on its deck. Those who have seen it report a deep sense of dread and foreboding, as if the ship is a harbinger of doom. One particularly chilling account comes from a lighthouse keeper who claimed to have seen the Silver Swan during a stormy night. The keeper watched in horror as the ghostly ship sailed directly towards the lighthouse, only to vanish just before reaching the rocks. The next morning, the keeper discovered that a severe storm had wrecked several ships in the area, and he believed the phantom ship had appeared as a warning. Despite the eerie encounters, Fastnet Lighthouse remains a vital navigational aid, standing as a symbol of resilience and endurance. However, for those who venture too close to its treacherous waters, the ghostly Silver Swan may still be sailing, forever lost in the storm that claimed its crew. Fastnet Lighthouse, County Donegal. Fastnet Lighthouse, located on the rugged Fastnet Peninsula in County Donegal, has stood as a beacon for sailors navigating the wild Atlantic coast since 1817. The lighthouse is known for its stunning views and historical significance, but it is also the site of a tragic story involving a young lighthouse keeper who met an untimely death. In the early 1900s, a young man named Patrick McLaughlin was appointed as the assistant lighthouse keeper at Fastnet Head. Patrick was eager to prove himself and was dedicated to his new role. However, the isolation of the lighthouse and the relentless pounding of the waves took a toll on his mental health. One stormy night, as he was performing his duties, Patrick lost his balance and fell from the top of the tower, crashing onto the rocks below. His body was found the next morning by the head keeper, who was devastated by the loss of his young assistant. Since that day, Patrick's ghost has been seen wandering the grounds of the lighthouse, particularly near the rocks where he met his end. Visitors have reported seeing a shadowy figure standing at the base of the tower, looking up as if contemplating the fall. Some have heard the sound of someone crying softly in the wind, as if mourning a life cut short. The atmosphere around the lighthouse is often described as heavy and somber, especially on stormy nights when the wind howls and the waves crash against the rocks. Despite the tragic history, Fastnet Lighthouse remains a popular destination for tourists, offering breathtaking views of the Atlantic and a poignant reminder of the dangers faced by those who kept the light burning. Balakot Lighthouse, County Cork. Balakot Lighthouse, located on Balakot Island off the coast of County Cork, is known for its picturesque setting and tranquil beauty. However, the island is also home to eerie tales of ghostly encounters, particularly involving the spirits of those who once lived on or near the island. One of the most famous stories involves a group of fishermen who were stranded on Balakot Island during a sudden storm. Forced to seek shelter on the island, they took refuge in a small hut near the lighthouse. As the storm raged outside, the men huddled together, listening to the wind howl and the waves crash against the rocks. Suddenly, the door of the hut blew open, and a figure appeared in the doorway. The men described the figure as a tall man dressed in old-fashioned clothing, with a stern expression on his face. He did not speak, but simply stood there, staring at the men as if judging their presence. Terrified, the fishermen tried to speak to the figure, but he vanished as suddenly as he had appeared, leaving the door wide open. The next morning, the men told their story to the lighthouse keeper, who informed them that the figure they had seen was likely the ghost of a former inhabitant of the island. According to local legend, the man had lived alone on the island many years ago and was known for his reclusive and unfriendly nature. It is said that he drowned in a boating accident, and his spirit has haunted the island ever since, resentful of any intruders. In addition to the ghostly man, visitors to Balakot Lighthouse have reported hearing strange noises at night, including the sound of footsteps on the rocks and the faint echo of a man's voice. Some have even seen shadowy figures moving along the shoreline, disappearing into the mist as they approach. Despite the eerie encounters, Balakot Lighthouse remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. The island's haunting beauty and mysterious history make it a fascinating place to visit, but visitors should be prepared for the possibility of encountering one of its restless spirits. Rockabell Lighthouse, County Dublin. Rockabell Lighthouse, located on a small, rocky island off the coast of Skerries in County Dublin, has been a vital navigational aid since it was first lit in 1860. The lighthouse stands as a solitary sentinel in the Irish Sea, guiding ships through treacherous waters. However, the sea around Rockabell has claimed many lives, and the spirits of lost sailors are said to haunt the island. One of the most famous tales associated with Rockabell involves a fishing vessel that sank during a violent storm in the early 20th century. The boat, carrying a crew of 5, was caught in a sudden squall and capsized before the men could send out a distress signal. Their bodies were never recovered, and it is said that their spirits still linger around the lighthouse, searching for a way to return home. Fishermen and lighthouse keepers have reported seeing ghostly figures near the shore, particularly during bad weather. These apparitions are often described as men in oilskins, their faces obscured by the hoods of their jackets, silently staring out to sea. Some have even claimed to hear the sound of faint knocking on the lighthouse door at night, as if the sailors are seeking shelter from the storm that claimed their lives. In one particularly chilling account, a group of fishermen reported seeing a boat floating near the island during a storm. The vessel appeared to be in distress, with its sails flapping wildly in the wind. Concerned, they attempted to approach the boat, but it vanished before their eyes, leaving only the sound of the wind and the crashing waves. Despite these eerie encounters, Rockabell Lighthouse remains a vital part of Ireland's maritime heritage. Visitors are drawn to its remote location and the stories of the spirits that are said to haunt the island. For those who venture to Rockabell, the lighthouse offers more than just a beacon of safety, it is a reminder of the souls lost to the unforgiving sea. Galway Lighthouse, County Cork. Balakot Lighthouse, standing on a dramatic headland overlooking the southern coast of Ireland, has been a beacon of safety for sailors since 1875. The lighthouse was built after a series of devastating shipwrecks in the area, and its construction was a challenging and dangerous endeavor. Some of the men who built the lighthouse are said to have never left the site, their spirits still lingering around the tower. One of the most persistent legends involves a worker who was tragically killed during the construction of the lighthouse. The man, known only as Liam, was a skilled stonemason who took great pride in his work. However, one day, while working on the outer wall of the lighthouse, he lost his footing and fell to his death on the rocks below. Since that day, Liam's spirit is said to haunt the lighthouse and its surroundings. Workers and visitors have reported seeing a shadowy figure near the base of the tower, often during the early morning hours. The figure is described as a man in work clothes, carrying tools as if still going about his daily tasks. Some have even heard the sound of chiseling and hammering, though when they investigate, they find no one there. In addition to Liam's ghost, there are also reports of strange occurrences in the lighthouse itself. Doors have been known to open and close on their own, and tools have been found moved or missing, only to reappear in unexpected places. Some visitors have reported feeling a sudden chill as they approach the tower, as if stepping into the past where the spirits of the workers still toil. Despite its haunted reputation, Balakot Lighthouse remains an important part of Ireland's maritime heritage. The lighthouse stands as a testament to the skill and dedication of the men who built it, but it also serves as a reminder of the dangers they faced. For those who visit, Balakot offers not just stunning views, but also a connection to the past and the spirits who helped shape it. As our journey through Ireland's haunted lighthouses comes to an end, we hope you've enjoyed these eerie tales of spirits and spectres that still linger by the sea. Whether it's the dedicated lighthouse keepers who continue their duties in the afterlife, or the phantom ships that sail through the mist, these stories remind us that the past is never truly gone. If you loved this deep dive into Ireland's maritime mysteries, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Irish Ghost Stories, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest tales of the supernatural. And if you've visited any of these lighthouses, or have your own ghostly encounter to share, let us know in the comments below. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, because you never know what might be watching you from the shadows.